A-League season, they become mini elimination finals. And tonight, as the Brisbane Roar host the Newcastle Jets, nothing less than a win will do for Newcastle. They can't be mathematically eliminated this weekend, but they will be right at the precipice with anything other than the 3 points. For the Brisbane Roar, they still largely control their own destiny because of who they play in the run home. But it's two teams that do start the night outside of the top six. You can see there, Brisbane in 8th, Newcastle in 9th. Brisbane's remaining games after tonight are against the Glory and Canberra. So they can look up the table and potentially win their way in. Newcastle, they need to win tonight. They can jump to 6th if they do so. But anything less than a win, and they will start to need favours and, frankly, a miracle. So only a win will satisfy for the visiting Newcastle Jets. The good news for the Jets is they did win 3-0 when these teams met at number 2 Sports Ground earlier in the season, and they have actually won 4 of the last 5 head-to-head against the Brisbane Roar, who come in tonight on their 3rd worst losing streak in club history. They've lost their last 4 in a row, and if they lose tonight, it will be equal with the club's worst record losing streak. Let's take a look at the Roar lineup, coming off defeat to the Wellington Phoenix away last weekend. Just the one change to the starters. The number 17, Bente Jansen, comes into the lineup and moves Kaya Stevenson to the substitutes bench. No spot in the matchday squad for Kyla Hansen. So Bente Jansen, the Dutch woman, is back. She had an extended break, not taken to Wellington as a precaution. And speaking of precautions, that is what she actually left the game in Newcastle with at half-time when Newcastle were leading 2-0 earlier in the season. So managing her body to the finish line here for the Roar has been a priority, and they've put a target on tonight's game in particular. Let's take a look at the Newcastle Jets lineup, and after a 3-1 win this time a week ago against Sydney FC, Stephen Hoyle has seen fit to leave his squad, not just the starters but also the bench, completely unchanged. So Newcastle bring good form into the match, but the likes of Cass Davis, the regular captain, and Elite, the New Zealand international goalkeeper, and Australia under-20s hopeful India Breyer all miss out on the matchday squad. Libby Copus-Brown raises 100 games for the Newcastle Jets tonight. It will be career game in the Ninja A-League 126. She did have a brief stint at Wanderers and also in England. But tonight it's 100 up in club colours for the 28-year-old who started her career at her hometown club. Alex Smith did suffer a 5-game losing streak last season between March 2 and March 30. So it's just an unhappy time of the year for the Brisbane Roar. And the club record losing streak of 5 losses in a row has only occurred twice previously. It's something they'll be desperate to avoid tripling up on tonight. The referee for this evening is Rebecca Durkow, assistants are Avril Beecham and Amber Morris, and the 4th official is Rachel Mitchinson. For Avril Beecham, who is the assistant referee on the near side to our cameras, it'll be her 100th Ninja A-League game, the first assistant referee from Queensland to achieve the milestone. Stephen Hoyle, the Englishman in charge of Newcastle, coming to the conclusion of his first campaign in charge, but he'll be hoping that it doesn't come to an end with a dead rubber. If they can win tonight, they'll get to game 18 still alive, the Jets, and dare to dream that gate-crashing the top 6 is still possible. So Roar in the huddle, you can see the American Mariana Seidel there taking the last of the team talk. This Roar team desperate to snap the current streak that they're on. Historically, head-to-head, they've dominated this fixture until only recently. 15 wins to Newcastle's 9, just the 3 draws, and 60 goals to 38. You can see the Jets have already broken out into position. Captain Matilda there, Tash Pryor, having a word with young Matilda's midfielder Emma Dundas. And the Roar are going to make them wait here for kickoff. And now they break out onto the pitch, and the crowd at Spencer Park hoping to cheer them on here to what could be a season-saving win. Ashlyn Miller, another American connection. All smiles, has obviously got some fans in the stands. And she'll be keen to impress tonight. 3 goals this season for her. So, ready to go in the Ninja A-League. It's round 20. And these two teams are playing game number 18 of the 20-game home and away season. We're underway. And it is the Brisbane Roar against the Newcastle Jets. as I welcome to the broadcast 66 cap former Matilda Alicia Ferguson. Good evening, Ish.
Hello, Teo. Great to be here. I do love when we get to the pointy end of the season and there's a lot at stake. As you mentioned, desperation for both these teams. So I'm expecting a lot of intensity and a lot of intent to go forward and get the 3 points.
And nights like tonight are going to have keen onlookers from around the Ninja A-League to just see who might potentially leapfrog them. If Newcastle win tonight, they can jump above no less than 3 teams into 6th place.
Yeah, there's a lot happening on the table, isn't there, towards this end of the season, coming off the back of that break. They've had a game previously, a 3-0 loss for the Raw, so they'll definitely want to try and break that losing streak.
Long clearance here, which Newcastle will consolidate. Georgia Ritchie in goal. It's her 6th consecutive appearance tonight. Another of the young Matilda's hopefuls, the 18-year-old, has been deputising for Anna Leet for some time now, since concussion ruled her out of both club and country duty. New Zealand naming their latest international break squad for the April window, which is coming up in between the end of the home and away and finals in the Ninja A-League, as we see a blow here to Claudia Chico, who's going to stay down.
Yeah, it was a heavy challenge. Claudia Chico looked like maybe a little knock towards the ribs, possibly winded. Just looking at this surface, Teo, Brisbane has had a lot of rain. Yeah, had a bit of a heavy clash right in the ribs or in the sternum. Just taking a little bit of time to get back on her feet. But looking at the surface, it is quite bobbly. It looks quite heavy with the amount of rain that Brisbane has had recently. So I think both teams will need to be aware of how they move that ball and how quickly they move it across the park.
Well, at the most recent PFA survey, Spencer Park did come in last for surface, so they'll be hoping it plays better than maybe the weather suggests tonight. It's certainly given us some good games this season, even if the players' votes have suggested that it could use some work. Here's Momo Hayashi breaking out of the defensive half, and Brisbane are going on the attack early. Josie Studer getting forward. Daisy Brown ahead of the ball. Studer breaks wide to the right. Newcastle scrambling back in defence, and enough numbers were there. Tash Pryor, one of them, and she clears to Melina Ayres. And Ayres turning around the corner to, well, lose the ball. The deflection means it's a Raw throw-in. Ashlyn Miller playing a short pass for Alicia Woods. And it's out once again. Studer and Miller. Melina Ayres, normally a goal scorer, but currently fixed on defensive duty. And, well, potential foul there, but tumbling to the ground, a shallow clearance. Kruger blocked the ball down. Copus Brown clears away. Claudia Chico back up and running. Bente Jansen in the vicinity, but Chico is able to clear. And now another heavy collision. Sophie Hoban coming off 2 goals last weekend. And Mariana Seidel, we saw her giving that team talk. She started the game with great physical application.
Yeah, a couple of heavy challenges on that right-hand side from the Brisbane Raw players. Really getting stuck into the physicality. Sophie Hoban on the receiving end from this challenge. I mean, not too much in it. I mean, Sophie Hoban got the ball first, so definitely a foul. Ashley Miller looked like a little nudge in the back from Melina Ayres there. Interesting, the assistant referee was in a good position, so may have thought that she was already on her way to ground.
Brisbane Raw, Seidel setting the tone in the early exchanges here. Josie Allen trying to squeeze through a gap, and now Newcastle have almost a mirror image throw-in to what Brisbane had a moment ago when they ventured forward. An attacking throw-in level with the penalty area. Chico heads back towards the line. Chico scoops across. Hayashi, now Jansen. Momo again, finds Zara Kruger. Kruger plays Ashlyn Miller. You see Studer breaking forward. The touch off Kruger. Jansen in a dangerous position, and the backtracking Chico is helped out by Josie Wilson, who clears. Wilson starting again at centre-back tonight in this unchanged Newcastle lineup next to Tash Pryor. Here's Jansen. Sees Zara Kruger. Kruger turns and concedes ground, and concedes, well, the ball if Hoban wants to take possession here. Instead, she's happy to just watch and protect from Amy Medwin, and eventually puts it out with the aid of a deflection.
Well, it was a good transition play from that bottom left corner for the Brisbane Roar out to the right-hand side. Went back into Zara Kruger. I wasn't sure whether she meant to play that ball into Bente Jansen first time or maybe it was just an unfortunate touch. But the ball is bobbling around. It does look like the surface is really heavy out there for the players. Few too many bobbles. Probably both teams just need to try and get a bit more composure, read the conditions. I mean, we've seen a lot of transition of possession already while both teams try and settle into this game.
Amy Medwin with a throw in. Back to Mariana Seidel. Lots of shouting about a switch of flanks here, but the Roar are going to be patient. Ruby Cuthbert, the young centre back, driving a cross-field pass, and Emma Bates deflects it out. Bates starting at left back tonight for Newcastle. Woods, Kruger, Miller. Quick look at the assistant referee. And now the flag goes up, and I think, well, you never want to ref yourself. You want to play until the whistle, but the whistle came very late there.
It was lovely little combination play on this right-hand side. And starting from Ruby Cuthbert's long searching ball diagonally, trying to get in behind Emma Bates on this left-hand side. And maybe they've had a look at the way that Newcastle set up. If Melina Ayres is there, you don't really want Melina having to defend too deep. So maybe that's where they see that they can exploit some space against Newcastle.
Pryor leans into a header. Ayres treads on the ball. The ball going backwards. Hoban in with real energy on Studer. And now a bit of afters, but the ball has left the vicinity. Josie Allen with a bursting run, and she's clattered here by Seidel. And the referee has got the yellow card out of the pocket already. 7 minutes on the clock. And the first yellow card of the game. Alex Smith protesting in the foreground, but Alicia Ferguson, let's stick with the yellow card foul.
Well, it was a definite yellow card, and Seidel need to be careful. She's had a couple of heavy challenges early on in the game. We're only 7 minutes in. There was a bit of afters between Hoban and Studer a little bit further up the pitch, which could have potentially been a foul as well. But what Josie Allen striding forward, just engaging Seidel to make that challenge was brilliant play.
I think it's the domino effect, because we saw Seidel clatter Hoban. Hoban has gone to try and make a statement of her own. And then as the ball breaks away in the meantime, almost a little bit of tit for tat. You know, it's a game with feeling. Talia Franco, just her second appearance of the season with Chloe Lincoln away on Matilda's duty. First home game of the campaign for her as well. She's giving instructions here as Emma Bates gets ready to put a free kick into the penalty area. Referee Rebecca Durkow just giving a final warning to some of the players. Here comes the free kick. Bates, it is an outswinger. The goalkeeper lured out. It's loose in the box and eventually volleyed clear by Jansen. Dundas led with the shoulder rather than go for the header. Here's Daisy Brown. Brown forced wide, and Dundas following her every step of the way. Studer, Woods, now Hayashi. Long ball from deep in midfield. The diagonal switch, a good one. Jansen trying to keep it moving. Kruger with the underlapping run, and across comes Pryor to clear away.
Well, this ball, I mean, Talia Franco, I thought she could have just caught it. She kind of had a little look just before the ball came to her to see who was running on, but tried to kind of half punch it. Could have been a real disaster in the Brisbane Roar goal. But how good is Momo Hayashi? Just a quality player, able to switch that play diagonally.
Hoban, Josie Allen full of running early. Ball to the box. Collins holds it up. Collins on the spin, blocked away. Hoban. And the ball deflected clear, but Chico will seize upon it here for Newcastle. Wilson to Copus Brown. Copus Brown, a tumbling ball, finds Josie Allen. Josie Allen cuts left, shoots and shoots wide. And just on Talia Franco, last week was her first game since January of 2025 when she was at Sydney FC. So you can train in an environment, but how much sort of match sharpness and ring rust will there be second game back for the young goalkeeper, who is only 20 years of age?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate position that goalkeepers are in, where they spend more time probably training sometimes than playing. And just on that opportunity for Josie Allen on that left-hand side. She did really well, just getting outside Studer, just dragged her shot a little bit wide, but promising signs for the left-hand side as well.
Jansen wants to cut onto her right. The shot is saved away. Miller trying to follow up, takes possession and loses possession. A shot on target and a confidence builder for Georgia Ritchie in this battle of two young keepers.
Well, it was a lovely strike from Bente Jansen. It looked like a pretty easy save for Ritchie, but I think with the conditions, it just bobbles up and skids out as well. She wasn't taking too many chances.
Well, this is a worry for Newcastle. Tash Pryor has taken a knee. I don't think it's an injury. It might be an equipment problem with the boot maybe breaking. She's going to take her time walking to the sideline here. It's not immediately obvious what the problem is with the Newcastle centre-back. Very much the senior defender out there.
Well, just looking at her reaction then, I was wondering, oh yeah, she's got another pair of boots. I thought maybe someone had studded her on the outside of her ankle or Achilles and she was trying to show the referee that. But change of equipment, get her back on the pitch as soon as possible.
So the Jets will have to readjust with Pryor off. Changing boots, it seems. Can Brisbane capitalise? 11 versus 10. And how many phases of play will they get? Looks like Dundas has dropped into centre-back for now. Studer cuts inside of Bates. Jansen with a bit of space. Back to Woods. Woods through ball. Chico and Wilson combine. Woods again driving, blocked away by Wilson. Body in the right position. And down a player, Newcastle, some desperate defending.
Yeah, it was a lovely bit of combination play. I think they were all looking to take this. Thought they were going to take that quickly, but Tishwood's just trying to feed in Bente Jansen on that left-hand side. That ball, it is heavy out there, though.
There's Tash Pryor. She's been waved back on. The corner's going to be taken in the meantime. Sliding on at the near post. Now Pryor arrives and the full complement restored for the Newcastle Jets. Kruger and Pryor right on call. The ball lands in the box, though. Danger not yet averted. Hayashi looking for a gap. Can't find one. And Dundas clears only as far as Jansen. Copus-Brown charges out to shut her down immediately. And Libby Copus-Brown wheeling around. The clearance, not a good one. Dundas, the pressure, Newcastle inviting it on. And now they finally clear their lines.
Well, it's been a bit scrappy, hasn't it? Lots of changeover possession here. I would like to see one of these teams just try and keep possession for at least a few more passes. It's not like the intensity's that high. Maybe, again, just dealing with the conditions of the pitch.
Pass wasn't to the advantage of Collins. Seidel knocked it away. Woods. Referee takes evasive action as Brown gives the ball to Medman on the left. Now back to Woods. Jansen making a run and is going to pull up as the ball runs long. Well, they've had some decent chances. One shot on target, but some other really threatening ventures forward, the home side so far.
Well, as we said, this is a big game for both of these teams. I don't think either of them would be playing for a draw. They both need the points getting towards the end of the season.
It is the point in the season where they will have lost touch with some teams that they can't catch. A slip here allows Collins to advance. Has got airs ahead of the ball. Collins maybe took a little too long and got caught by backtracking defenders. Dundas, just snapping at the heels. Chico blocked out for a throw-in.
There's a few little niggles out there, aren't there, between the players? Tish Woods, Emma Dundas just having a little bite at the heels, giving her a little nudge in the back as well.
And this time, Medwin wins the little duel against Hoban for a throw-in down at left back. Medwin to Jansen, holding the ball up. Good work by Hoban to knock it clear eventually, but not to the advantage of Newcastle. Miller trying to bring it down. entangled by Dundas. Miller, can she hold her ground? Dundas not letting her go. Looks like she might have been dragged to the ground there, Ashlyn Miller, but the referee let the players sort it out. And now Josie Allen makes an intercept. Here goes Allen, and hooks it across the face again. That was going wide, but Franco raked it in regardless.
Well, I think the pitch played a bit of a part. It was a bit of a underweighted pass across the back line. Josie Allen read it really well, jumped really quickly. Ashlyn Miller, I think, there was a little bit of a tussle there. Could have potentially been a foul. I think even earlier, though, she could have actually continued coming out to this right-hand side rather than going back towards the centre of the pitch where all the players were. But again, just being wary of how this pitch is playing. I think both teams are actually struggling to build any real tempo because of how heavy it is, and need to find ways.
Flag up here, offside against Melina Reyes.
I was going to say, need to find ways to start getting the ball to move quicker, and whether that's actually maybe chipping it into people or looking for those gaps in behind rather than to play it into feet. Because at the moment, I feel like if you're playing it in front, then it's easy for the defenders to read to step in front and try and intercept it.
Franco here, clearing to Seidel. Good first time pass from Jansen, finds Woods. And now Kruger. Lays it out to the right, Ashlyn Miller. Slowing down as she hits the cross, attempted a volley, and a high boot from Alicia Woods is immediately blown up by the referee. Claudia Chico, who copped her in the ribs earlier, avoids another blow here.
Well, that was lovely play on the left-hand side for Brisbane to break out of a reasonably good press from Newcastle. There was a nice little flick around the corner to Tish Woods and then a switch of play to the other side. And every time that Brisbane do that, they do look dangerous. There's plenty of space if they can get the switch of play done quickly.
Here's Kruger shooting and blocked high. Bates trying to avoid conceding a corner. Can't do so. Ritchie watches it over the line. So, corner kick for the Brisbane Roar. It's going to be the left footer, Mariana Seidel, who has delivered some lethal corners this season. Think of the away game against Melbourne Victory, which led to a goal for Daisy Brown, the away game to Sydney FC, which led to a headed goal from Momo Hayashi. Can she put one on the money here? Lots of players to aim for inside the penalty area. Here comes Seidel's corner. It's high to the back post. Oh, it only needed a touch. It's actually, I think, caught the frame of the goal and continued rolling along the line and eventually finds its way out for a corner on the opposite side.
Well, Momo Hayashi was sneaking in at the far post there. A lovely ball, lots of curl on it, trying to get it anywhere between the sticks. Yeah, just a tiny touch off the corner of the goalpost. Momo Hayashi getting into a great position. She finds herself, for not being that tall, in great positions from corners.
Catching the woodwork, if anything, deflected it away from Hayashi. Repeat corners. Woods' turn. Hayashi's up, and it's blocked immediately. The defender jumping with her was key. Newcastle trying to avoid a third corner in a row, but they've coughed up the ball. Swung back in, batted away by Ritchie. Hayashi following up, and Ritchie recovers in time to grasp on Newcastle. They are dicing with danger, but they have kept the clean sheet intact.
Well, another good delivery in the second phase from Tish Woods. Hayashi, just good timing. She was in there a couple of times. Melina Ayres quite came off the back of her head.
Josie Allen full of running. And again, out in space, is just going to slow down and survey the options here before she looks for another burst of acceleration and sent sprawling by the equally low centre of gravity from Momo Hayashi.
Oh, she's just everywhere, isn't she, Momo? Just an incredible player. What you see when they are out of possession, she does sit in front of the Brisbane Roar defensive line, but then will drop back in when required as well.
Hoban, and it looked like a bit of a grab around the waist, and the free kick is forthcoming, so a close-range free kick on an acute angle here for the visiting Jets.
Well, I think if I'm any one of Libby Copus-Brown here, particularly with Talia Franco on that previous effort, this is a great angle for her as a right footer. The ground is wet. It could skin onto it. You are aiming directly for that far post.
Talia Franco happy with Just the one player in the wall. That's Ashlyn Miller. Copus Brown. Will she be tempted into a direct shot on the target? Looks as though the one-player wall is kind of almost a two-player wall. It's a low bender. Ayres running through and saved by Franco. Put it down as a save, and it fell kindly to a teammate for the Raw to clear their lines.
I mean, that was a huge opportunity. Brilliant delivery from Copus Brown onto the run of Melina Ayres. There was that big gap in there. I love that she kept it nice and low, so it could have been just a tap in. I think Ayres will be kicking herself that she didn't put that in the back of the net.
Collins from the wing, a barging run. Alexis Collins cuts it across. Ayres saved. Josie Allen following up, but the ball had enough backspin to take it out for a corner, and two confidence-boosting saves for Talia Franco.
Oh, great run from Lex Collins here. She looked up, she saw Melina just check back off the broad defender, and I think Ayres will be again disappointed that she didn't quite catch that properly. What another big opportunity for Newcastle Jets.
So Roar have had a number of corners down at their attacking end. Now it's Newcastle's turn. Copus Brown still on set-piece duty. No time wasted over the corner. Hayashi up with a header. Doesn't clear it away. It lands at the edge of the 6-yard box. And it's only going to go as far as Copus Brown, who immediately drives it back in. And this time it's a comfortable claim for Talia Franco.
Well, some positive moments for Newcastle Jets. I think a couple of very good opportunities to get the ball in the back of the net from that free kick, and then a great run down the right from Lex Collins.
Misplaced pass here. Dundas clattered late, but the referee pays the throw in. Tish Woods has been in the thick of it so far.
I was going to say a little smile from Tish Woods. Her and Emma Dundas are having a good little battle in that central area. There's been a few little niggles, a few tussles, dragging each other down, little nudges in the back.
And the night is young. We're only about a quarter of the way through the action. No goals, but not for a lack of trying. Both teams are really going at each other here on a night where a draw won't satisfy. Cuthbert down the line, and that's going to flash on and draw Georgia Ritchie out of her line. And a quick collect and roll out to Emma Bates. Now back at the feet of the goalkeeper. Wilson. Chico. Long ball intercepted. Seidel. Not to the advantage of Hayashi, and there's midfield cover. Copus Brown trying to thread the eye of the needle for Josie Allen, but Studer was able to pick the pass off. Now Pryor heading to her own advantage. That pass not to the advantage of Bates, but she's done really well with her left leg. Reached out there, good close control in the end, and she wins a foul for her team.
Yeah, she did well, keeping her body between Daisy Brown and the ball, just drawing the foul, breaking out of a little bit of pressure.
Chico pops a ball up for a contest, and running out onto it is Seidel. Finds Jansen. Jansen leaves it with Medwin. Amy Medwin gets into a tangle and gets the better of Sophie Hoban. A bit of a death stare and nothing, no words exchanged from Sophie Hoban.
Yeah, she wasn't happy, was she? They were both in strong. Well, I think she had a little grab. Well, so did Amy Medwin. Sophie Hoban had the jersey in the end. Yeah, that's a good stare back to the referee by Sophie Hoban. Not happy.
Alicia Woods takes the free kick. Landing it at the penalty spot. Pryor, solid header. Kruger knocked off the ball. Collins. Studer consolidates here for Brisbane. Daisy Brown starting a little bit deeper on this phase of play, having been back for the attacking set piece. Now players reorganised back into their regular position. Given it's been such a physical game, only the 3 fouls total so far. One of them has come with a yellow card, though, for Mariana Seidel. Here's Cuthbert. And Cuthbert run down by Melina Reyes, but still able to win a throw-in as Alex Smith points and waves.
Just talking about the number of passes and that real transition of possession, changeover of possession, so much of it. I mean, the passing accuracy for both teams is reasonably low. It's just below 63% for the Roar and 61% for the Jets. I think that's pretty indicative of how the game's been played. I haven't seen either team actually control possession. Yeah,
I mean, both teams below 70 would be below average, never mind only just into the 60s. Hayashi. Back to Cuthbert. Now Seidel. Switching over to Medwin. Medwin closed down by Hoban. And Hoban wins the ball away. Copus Brown. Dundas in a bit of space. And Emma Dundas can advance here. A heavier touch, but still keeps it moving to Josie Allen. Allen in, and it was begging for the tap in. Melina Reyes second to the ball, though. And Talia Franco claims.
It was a good ball by Dundas. She had her head up as Hayashi came to close her down. Nice little one-touch. Knew exactly where she wanted to put it, Josie Allen. That dangerous spot across the 6-yard box. Melina Reyes diving, stretching to try and just get a toe before Franco collected the ball.
I mean, Ez did everything right except get there.
Yeah.
Just a split second, wasn't it?
There wasn't too much in it. She read it really well. She was just watching what Josie Allen was doing. As soon as Josie Allen took that touch, she put on the afterburners to get in front of Franco.
Woods wins the ball back for the Roar, and then through Dundas goes Brown. Over to Kruger, now to Miller. Studer making a run, and it deflects off Studer. The two Americans getting in each other's way there. Hayashi with a header. And Hoban grabbed by Jansen. Rebecca Durkow giving Bente Jansen a telling off.
Wow, we've seen a fair bit of that little arm grabbing, haven't we, in the first half, even for not too many fouls. Plenty of physical contact between these two teams. Sophie Hoban's been in a few battles out there as well, big contests. It's a silly place to give away a free kick, though. I feel like you're just allowing the Jets to ease off and allow them to get out of the pressure. Really no reason to make a foul there.
Game has just hit a bit of a lull. The crowd falls silent at Spencer Park. Stephen Hoyle and former Jets goalkeeper Claire Coelho there, seated on the bench. Well, the lull continues. Newcastle not able to make the most of an attacking half throw-in.
Well, I think both coaches wouldn't be overly impressed, I think, with the quality and ability to maintain possession and really try and build up some good passages of play. Turnover of possession, even just passes, well, passes being given away in front, passes going to the wrong side of players, passes bobbling into the teammates as well. There's been a lot of players having to stretch for balls that they're trying to receive from their teammates. I think first and foremost, that quality from both teams needs to improve.
Ruby Cuthbert here. Another pass that just lost momentum as it ran, and then Josie Allen almost blindly running straight back into Ruby Cuthbert. Both teams are blowing up here thinking it's their throw-in. And, well, sometimes arguing does work because Brisbane Roar get the decision.
Yeah, they were all off the bench as well, and it was the right decision. It did deflect off Josie Allen. Ruby Cuthbert not happy, arms out. Eventually got the right decision, though.
Cuthbert, only her third appearance of the season. She's only played 81 total minutes. She played 71 last week in New Zealand before being subbed off to save the legs, but great to see her starting again, the young West Australian. She's moved across the country to Brisbane. Here's Hayashi. And the right to left diagonal, looking for Bente Jansen, has been one of Raw's go-to plays. It's not going to work for them here, though. Dundas sees Bates in a gap. And now Bates to Ayres. Hasn't really linked up much with general play, Melina Ayres. She's more been attempting to finish. It's dragged deep into midfield there as the Raw through Woods advance. Now Jansen. Diagonal ball straight onto the head of Bates. Was there a handball there against Emma Dundas? There was. And when Momo Hayashi's out on the pitch, this could be shooting range.
Absolutely, particularly in these conditions as well. I mean, yeah, Emma Dundas had her arm out there. Oh, she was arguing the point with the referee, but I think that was the right decision. This is a great position for Momo Hayashi. We've seen her wonderful technique from dead ball pieces, where she really hits down onto the ball, comes straight at it, tries to get it to swerve up and down, up and over the keeper.
And it was away to Newcastle last season that Momo scored one of her spectacular free kicks. Georgia Ritchie in goal, no doubt would have been given plenty of briefing and watched plenty of video. It's a very different situation to be out there defending against it. And the goalkeeper has asked for 4 in the wall. Now we're about to get another Momo moment. Hayashi off the long run-up. Listen to the crowd building in anticipation. Here's Hayashi. She lets fly, and it just kept rising.
Yeah, it was a good distance for Momo Hayashi. She's a bit disappointed with herself. The way her technique, it's very straight on. She's trying to almost hit down at the ball at the point of contact, so it dips. It goes up and kind of dips down over the goalkeeper, but it's almost like she just hit it on the outside of her boot there, so wasn't able to control it, and it sliced off up and over the crossbar.
Wilson hugging the line. Out for a Brisbane throw it goes, taken quickly by Medwin. Jansen, deflected pass, sits up for Wilson. And now Copus Brown. You see Brisbane are taking over possession, maybe just taking over general play. That pass won't help. Dundas to Ayres, quick to turn. And a blind pass forward, straight down to the goalkeeper. Zara Kruger. Pass back here to Ruby Cuthbert. Jets happy to stand off and wait for the Raw to commit just a little further forward.
This is good though. At least they're doing a little bit of build-up play. They're not in any rush to go forward, just trying to drag the Jets out of position.
Now the long ball comes, and it's Ashlyn Miller roving over to the left flank for the first time today, but the pass is beyond her.
Well, that was probably the first passage, Taya, that we've seen. That was actually a bit more structured and controlled possession. And I think that's what both teams just need to start trying to put together, a few more passages of play, not be in such a rush to go forward.
Long ball to a contest. Raw able to repel.
And I think that's a prime example of it. You know, you're trying to break out of what is, it's not like a super, super high press or an intensive press by the Raw. And maybe being a bit conscious of the conditions and the pitch as well. There's definitely a lot of underweighted passes out there. And while the pitch is heavy, you have to adjust to it quickly. And I just don't think either team has been able to quite get the measure of it at the moment.
Woods deflected off. Wilson, and Pryor gets across with time to spare to avoid conceding another corner kick. But again, Brisbane territorially starting to dominate the game as the match takes place down in their attacking half. Hayashi working with Medwin. Chico trying to spin out of a jam. Seidel. Jansen. Seidel straight to Copus Brown. Now Collins. What can the Jets do though? Volunteering the ball back again straight away. Chico. All the way back to Ritchie. Well, the pace of the game has gone down a bit. That doesn't seem to suit Newcastle. They seem to be getting jammed every time they have to connect a pass at the moment.
Yeah, and they're trying to break out of the pressure and break through that midfield line as well and get the ball forward, but at the moment aren't able to keep possession as that ball does go forward.
Nearly escaping through there was Collins. Kruger, a back pass. All the way back to Franco, who's out with a firmly struck right-footed clearance. Onto the head of Chico. Hoban. A more proactive touch, but Copus Brown wants to go backwards, and Pryor being squeezed. Wilson contending with Daisy Brown. Back to Georgia Ritchie. Ritchie can't clear Jansen, the last player Newcastle wanted to give it away to, but the backtracking work of Josie Allen saves the day there. Bates now. Ayres. Bates sizes up the options and drives forward. It's going to run on here. Franco lured out of the penalty area, so quick to clear, and that's going to go keeper to keeper. Just as the ball again decelerated off the surface, and Ritchie had to take one step out of the box. Ashlyn Miller defending from the front, able to win the ball back. Franco again, getting more confident, coming out of the penalty area more often, the goalkeeper. Cuthbert. Franco measuring a pass. Well done onto Daisy Brown, but she couldn't link up with a teammate. Can the Jets counter here? Dundas. Doesn't like any of the forward options. Pryor. Hoban plays it off for Copus Brown. Only really had one option, and that was Chico on the wing. The underlapping run comes from Hoban. Sophie Hoban now sees Dundas in space. Lots of numbers behind the ball for Brisbane, though. Dundas surveying the options here. And then a little deflection on the pass as it worms its way back to Tash Pryor.
Well, it's much more patient build-up here from Newcastle. Both teams in the previous passages.
Hoban. And the cross here is going to be deflected back to Hoban. Does she shoot on the tight angle? She does! Side netting only. Well, it was happening very slowly, then very quickly for Newcastle there. Sophie Hoban was able to change the pace of the attack.
Well, Amy Medwin didn't clear the lines properly, and Sophie Hoban just kept at it. It looked like it snuck into that near post top corner, but ended up hitting the side netting. I really do think the tempo of the game has been dictated by, one, the conditions of the pitch, and two, just some technical issues as well. As I say, the weight of the passing, I think you've definitely got to put more on it in the current conditions. The field looks very heavy, but there's a lot of underweighted passes out there, and it can be challenging.
Newcastle, their own worst enemies here. A couple of stray passes. Raw just not able to make them pay. Wilson goes for a run, treading on each other's toes there, Wilson and Copus Brown. And the ball scooped forward. A less than convincing minute for the Jets here as they try to escape their defence. Now the Raw come back in the other direction. Bente Jansen. Down to the corner she goes. And happy to slow to a walk. Hayashi. Early ball, misplaced. Copus Brown. Now Dundas. Lucks a fortune as it deflects to Collins. And the ball is going to slide out for a Brisbane throw. See the passing accuracy, both teams climbing back up towards 70% at least, which is passable.
Yeah, probably the last 5, maybe 6 or 7 minutes where it's been the tempo. I mean, the tempo hasn't necessarily increased, but this playing around the back, looking for those combinations into midfield, I think the Raw are doing much better.
Kruger here, sends it to Jansen. Jansen looks at Chico and squares it. Brown first time shot, but really just a gentle sidestep onto the ball rather than struck with any real force.
When you talk about that I'm being quite critical about how they're playing with the possession, but that was a lovely passage of play. They've gone straight through the middle. The ball's come back out to that left-hand side. A great opportunity for Daisy Brown in the centre of the pitch, and understandably, she probably wants to have a shot first time. Maybe she could have had a touch just to set it up a little bit better and make sure that the contact was stronger.
More midfield battles, Dundas. Big deflection off Ashlyn Miller. Hayashi takes over for Raw. Kruger. Still Zara Kruger. Sends it to Jansen. Jansen tries to go left, and Chico, good one-on-one defending. Makes the slide tackle and gets it to the safety of the line. Jansen back to Medwin. Medwin on her right foot swinging it in here. Daisy Brown was up. Pryor, second bite at it, and then Studer sends it sky high.
Well, that was a big opportunity for Josie Studer. She knows it too. She had her head in her hands. A good ball back in. Daisy Brown contesting as well as Miller. And Studer just got it all wrong. Up and under. Went skied over the bar. That was a big chance for the Raw.
Georgia Ritchie, the clearance into the attacking half ever so briefly. Hayashi, Brown, Jansen again. Back to Momo Hayashi. And Hayashi whips a ball over the head of Ashlyn Miller. And that one was unretrievable as it finds its way out. So 3 minutes of regulation to go in the first half. It does feel as though Raw are shading the contest. They've had a string of half chances. They've only really forced one meaningful save out of Georgia Ritchie, though.
Yeah, and Claudia Chico there had her arms up, kind of a bit like, where are my options going forward? I think there's a little bit of a lack of movement in that central areas. They are trying to play a little bit more direct at times, up and over or through the Brisbane Roar midfield, but it's just not sticking once it gets up there.
Ayres lays it back to Copus Brown. Hobart is quick, but not quick enough to get to the ball ahead of Franco. Sharply out off the line again. Wilson crashed in, didn't get the ball though. Jansen does. Brown. Hayashi. Squeezing through gaps here. Woods, the last player in the chain, but shut down by Pryor. And now Chico. Back to Tash Pryor, surrounded by orange shirts. Had Copus Brown there in support. It's all a bit labour intensive from Newcastle at the moment.
Yeah, it really feels it. I think they'd be quite happy going into the break if they can maintain this score. They have had a couple of chances though. Josie Allen with that great ball in to Melina Ayres.
If they can get a fast break going, there's no reason they can't be the ones to score first here. As Josie Allen, no foul forthcoming, was a crunching challenge. Now the ball bending out to the left. Jansen sees Ashlyn Miller in the middle. And play is whistled to a stop. Well, things were unfolding in slow motion there, but perhaps because players had stolen metres they weren't entitled to and offside.
Well, if it was Bente Jansen, it's one of those frustrating ones where she can see across the line, so should be able to stay on. There was plenty of space out there. Get another good switch of play and quick transition from the Raw.
Bates here. Looping back pass down to Ritchie. Ritchie sends it back out to Bates. You sort it out. And Bates, good sidestep from Pryor, opens up the pitch. And just a bit of relief as we tick into the last minute of regulation. Copus Brown from deep wants Alexis Collins. Can she bash and crash and find a way through? Hoban certainly can. And she's been legged here by Medwin. And the Jets will have a dangerous set piece as the game ticks into first half stoppage time.
Well, clumsy challenge from Amy Medwin there. Just lunging in. Sophie Hoban, she's had plenty of contests tonight. And this is a good position again. So a good chance and delivery from Libby Copus Brown on that previous free kick. She's still taking it as a right footer, so maybe looking to angle it around, still in that gap, but coming back towards the oncoming players on that 6-yard box.
So can the Jets, as we tick into one additional minute, have the final say of the first half? Copus Brown's free kick slides off heads, and it is a corner. And so they stay on the attack with another set piece.
And interesting, Libby Copus Brown went for a lofted delivery that time, maybe thinking that the angle was a little bit better. Melina Ayres was at the far post, so was Josie Allen.
So this might be the final phase of play in the first half. Can Libby Copus Brown produce the right corner? It is a big cluster of players at the back post. Can Copus Brown pick someone out? It slides through the penalty area and is scrambled away. The 1 minute of additional time hasn't expired just yet, but the Jets will have to hustle here. They'll only have seconds left to play with. Claudia Chico in no rush. The referee saying, don't go walking too far down the line. So the 1 minute expires. Here's Ayres playing it through the right. Alexis Collins and the underlapping run. Hoban foiled, a good close range save. And the last act of the half is a big stop from Talia Franco. And that was crucial.
It was a lovely ball from Melina Ayres to Alexis Collins, and then the first time pass to Sophie Hoban. Talia Franco, credit, came out, stood her ground. That was a beautiful little pass in there, and the right thing for Sophie Hoban to do. But Talia Franco, great save right on the stroke of half-time.
Only had one clean sheet in her career, Talia Franco. Today's appearance number 10. And she is halfway to job done. Look at the smile. Why wouldn't you be happy? It's a massive save on the stroke of half-time. Both teams had their moments. Raw probably more possession and territory, but Newcastle, some very good clear cuts. And on a night where both teams are committed to attacking, they will be wondering as they go into the rooms how neither have been able to find the back of the net. Because it's Brisbane Raw 0, Newcastle Jets 0. With Alicia Ferguson, let's jump into the first half highlights. No goals, but no shortage of effort.
Well, yeah, this was a good opportunity. Josie Allen just taking on Josie Studer, trying to drag it into the far post, not able to get it on target. This was a lovely ball into Bente Jansen, who had a strike on goal, but Ritchie just parried that away.
Josie Allen had some lightning moments in that first half, but just the finishing touch, not quite there.
Yeah, again, trying to play it. Maybe she was trying to play that across goal. This was a great run by Alexis Collins. A little look up as well, trying to find the run of Melina Ayres, who had checked off. Didn't quite catch it to as much as she would have wanted to. Josie Allen again on this left-hand side. That was a great ball in, and so close to being a goal with Melina Ayres sliding in. And probably, you know, Newcastle definitely had the better of the chances. As you said, Teo, for all the possession, we thought that one may have snuck into the near post as well.
And then this was Newcastle again, able to defend stoutly at the end of the first half and steer it to the half-time break. So let's take a look at the underlying numbers. Possession more or less even. The shot count, Raw just the one on target, the Jets 3. Passing accuracy on the improve. And 8 fouls, but only the one yellow card for the Brisbane Raw. So that's the state of play. Raw 0, Jets 0 at half-time. We'll be back on the other side of this short break. Live shots from Spencer Park fans amusing themselves during the halftime break of this goalless Ninja A-League contest between the Brisbane Roar and Newcastle Jets. On the bench, hoping to come on in the second half for Newcastle, is Lauren Allen. She's been part of the Jets since 2019, clocking up more than 100 matches for her hometown club. Let's find out a little bit more about Lauren Allen.
We always get a good crowd at number 2. It's obviously not one of the biggest ones, but I feel like we fill it out quite well. Especially the past few seasons, we're getting a good crowd there. It's a good field, and I just feel like the fans can get pretty close to us all the way around. I like to have the grass hills, and then they also have the stadium. For me, that's been the home ground for all the seasons. And yeah, they keep the grass really well. I think it's easy for the fans to ride in the city of Newcastle as well.
Lauren Allen walking out there in the number 13 shirt. She becomes just the 5th Jet today to play 100 games for the club. She is from the northern suburbs of Sydney and now has made Newcastle her home. 100 games and 21 goals.
Yes, definitely, Newy girl, very local, would love to stay here, and yeah, I guess that's why I've stayed at the club too. So it's the only club I've been at, so yeah.
Thanks, Davis, second ball back in. And in the milestone game, it is a perfect outcome for Lauren Allen.
It's a dream come true for me. The girls are loving it too. But yeah, can't believe I got to have it at home, 100th game, and to score a header as well. Like, obviously my debut was a big moment for me. Very nervous, came on as a sub, but we played against Melbourne City, and during that time they were very stacked. So Emily Van Egmond, Ellie Carpenter. I remember there's a photo as well that I'm chasing Ellie Carpenter down, and she is very quick. So but yeah, it was great to just get out there, especially in front of my friends and family. But I would probably say last season when we beat Sydney FC, I came on as a sub as well and scored the winning goal, which was great.
Minutes of play. Pryor, releasing long ball, Lauren gets a touch shot, and is that the winner for the Newcastle Jets at the death?
We had an early red card, and yeah, came on, got an assist, and then yeah, Tash put in a good ball and got in a goal. And I think it was the first time we beat Sydney in a long time, so that was extra good, and it was an away game as well. So yeah, it was a great feeling.
Some great memories there for Lauren Allen. Matilda star Tamiki Yallop on the comeback trail from injury going through her paces. What minute will we see her in the second half? Now, the Brisbane Roar have thrown their support behind 2 Iranian players who've remained in Australia following the AFC Women's Asian Cup. Last Monday, they joined the Roar, stepping away from the intensity of their situation into a supportive team environment. Here's a bit more from the Roar coach, Alex Smith, about what the experience meant for everyone involved.
Football's a beautiful game. Has the ability to bring a bit of happiness in some dark situations to a lot of people. It doesn't have to be in a time like this, but even in normal life. But in this case, it was a privilege for us to open our doors and put a smile on the 2 girls' faces. So I think it's the first time they had laughed in a week, they said. It was really a no-brainer for us. We just opened the doors and come train and enjoy yourself. And to be fair, they didn't put a foot wrong. They were, they fit into the group really well. So sometimes it's bigger than the game of football. And I think last week was definitely that case. I mentioned it, I think the next day, I spoke to the girls about it, like how lucky are we to show up every day and not have to worry about stuff like that. And we kind of owe it not to them, but we kind of owe it to ourselves to make sure we give everything we can. And it's funny in life, you never know when things are going to be taken away. And so yeah, that was the message from me around the 2 girls coming in. We caught up for maybe an hour afterwards with them, and there was a couple of people from FIFA here as well. And translator, obviously, because that was a definite necessity. Obviously, speaking to them the first time that they've smiled in a while. So for us, it was a real privilege to be able to do that for them. They're still welcome anytime to come down and join in and just forget about things for an hour and a half. Hopefully, we could give them a small slice of happiness in the midst of a pretty dark time for them.
So that's what's been going on at the Brisbane Roar recently. Let's take a look at what's going on around the entire Ninja A-League. It's just gone full-time at Leichhardt Oval. Wellington Phoenix conceded first to Sydney FC, but they've come from behind to win 3-1. So hello to everyone that's switching over from that game if you haven't had both up on multiple devices already. Perth at home against the Mariners tomorrow, and then a big Sunday. Canberra-Adelaide could be crucial for second spot, and then the Wanderers hoping to stall Melbourne City's attempts to win 3 premiership plates in a row. The second half is on the other side of this short break. Stay with us on the Ninja A-League because Brisbane Roar and Newcastle are looking for goals when we come back. Welcome back to live pictures from Spencer Park, about to kick off the second half of this so far scoreless game. Brisbane Roar hosting the Newcastle Jets in the Ninja A-League. Both teams ready to go as they pursue an all-important first goal here. Who will strike first? Neither team has turned to the bench. We're back underway. Newcastle taking kickoff to start the second half. And Alicia Ferguson, as you rejoin me, are we expecting anything dramatically different, given it's the same 11s out there at the beginning of the second 45?
No, I don't think so, Tao. I think probably both coaches would like to improve that passing accuracy, just make sure that they can control a bit more possession. I think the tempo of the game hasn't been that intense up until now, but Newcastle have had the better of the chances. It's definitely been a lot of transition of possession in that first half. Did get better as the half wore on, but I think both coaches will want to control possession a little bit better in this second half.
Olivia Chico taking a throw in here down the line. Flick header on by Alexis Collins, cleared away by Mariana Seidel, only player in the game with the yellow card to her name. Here's Momo Hayashi on for Daisy Brown. Trying to return it, and Chico knocks it out. We saw Tamika Yallop warming up during the half-time break. What minute do you think we might see Meeks, as she came on pretty close to the finish line last week, less than 10 minutes in the end. So could it be as many as 30 tonight, or do you think we'll have to be patient, Brisbane fans, waiting for her return? We'll come back to that at the next phase in play, because Studer is going to have a shooting chance here. Josie Studer, and skies at high.
Well, that's a couple of times Josie Studer has gotten underneath the ball. She had plenty of space in front of her. I like that she had a nice big touch out of her feet, had a little look up, but just leaning back at that point of contact rather than continuing on with her momentum, her head and shoulders over the ball.
The Raw going to get a similar chance here. Zara Kruger. Now Ashlyn Miller. Studer on the overlap. Miller keeps the ball at her feet. Clips across in. It's an unmarked header. And the opening goal for the Brisbane Raw. Daisy Brown has come up with the all-important opening goal.
Oh, we were talking about Daisy Brown being a little bit quiet in that first half for the Raw. But what a way to start this second half. She's got the little celebration as well. It was a lovely ball into the box. Head up by Ashlyn Miller. Had a little look, little dink in, and she just got behind Emma Bates to nod that one back across Ritchie in the Newcastle Jets goal.
First goal in a bit over 5 weeks for Daisy Brown, and her 5th of the season. The 19-year-old in her first Ninja A-League campaign. 14 games, 5 goals. And importantly, puts the end to just a little dry spell, and maybe for the Brisbane Raw, who have been in desperate need of a win, they lead first, but the Jets are looking to hit back straight away. Alexis Collins bursting into space, wants Melina Ayres with the cross. Ayres sends it over the bar.
Well, we know the quality of Melina Ayres anywhere around or inside that 18-yard box. She's disappointed with herself that she wasn't able to get it on target, and we know she can get those on target. It was well spotted by Alexis Collins when she broke down that right-hand side. Like she was having a little look up, cut it back across goal, but that was a good opportunity for the Jets.
Claudia Chico trying to bend a clearance to stay into Newcastle's advantage. Collins, good centre forward play. Knocks it on here for Hoban. Just trying to force it forward, get the ball on the ground. And now she looks up at the Brisbane defence. Hoban slides it to Copus Brown. What a great touch. Collins back to Ayres. And now the shot from Dundas through traffic. And Talia Franco saw it all the way. Think back to that save Franco made right on the stroke of half-time. How important could that be now that it's the Raw who've come out and scored first in the second?
Well, huge. It's always about taking the opportunities when they present themselves. That was a nice bit of combination play on the edge of the box. Alexis Collins in there as well. Dundas trying to drop it back into Melina Ayres so she could get a strike on goal.
Crucially for the Raw, it is just a goal as well. They, I think, were on a streak of 13 conceded without scoring, stretching all the way back to when they led Melbourne City 2-0 down the control side of a pitch on a day that they ended up losing 5-2. So they'd been in desperate need of just finding a goal to get the confidence back up. Newcastle, though, well, Hoban's pass won't help on this occasion. Intercepted by Seidel. Medwin. And as far as Chico, and she resets by going back to Georgia Ritchie. Bates. Josie Allen. Looking to recapture some of the bright sparks of the first half. Bates, return pass, finds its way out. And I haven't forgotten, what minute do you think we'll see Tamika Yallop? And maybe being 1-0 up might push that a little bit further back too.
Well, hopefully we see a few more minutes from Meeks. It's such a shame that she had such a serious injury. Made it unavailable for the Asian Cup for the Matildas. But it's not only her quality on the pitch, but it's also her leadership qualities as well.
Hoban looking a little bit sore. And that stumble continued out of the field of play.
It looked like the contact was on her left leg, but maybe I didn't see it quite, whether she, as she planted, maybe had a little roll of the ankle. Just moving okay, a little bit of a limp.
Won't want to leave the game, that's for sure. Coming off her first goals of the season last weekend against Sydney FC. Free kick restart for Newcastle. Josie Allen, early ball. Hoban up and running. Did she stay onside though? No, flag goes up. Hoban kicks the ball away in disappointment. The Jets have got to keep their heads here. There's a lot of football still to be played and they only trail to the 1 goal so far.
Yeah, and they've created decent opportunities. I think having that patience and understanding when those transition moments give you the opportunity.
Here goes Ashlyn Miller, 1 assist to date. Can she add another here with this cross? It's touched off by Brown, and Brown was coming back from an offside position this time. Lots of disquiet in the crowd. We'll see the restart here, it's 2! Goodness gracious! Georgia Ritchie's been caught in possession, and Daisy Brown has a quick-fire double. And the Newcastle Jets have not kept their heads. They find themselves 2-0 down, and the Roar are on track to break their losing streak.
Well, I'm not sure whether it was Stephen Hoyle or someone else on the Newcastle Jets bench, but you could hear him saying, Georgia, Georgia, trying to give her a heads up. Daisy Brown just taking too loud. Long, Georgia Ritchie. I mean, that's far too easy. It's well read by Daisy Brown, but that's an easy goal for the Brisbane Roar.
Don't know what it is, Ish. You could just see it coming that Newcastle heads weren't in the game after conceding the first, and it's cost them another.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia Ritchie will not want to see that back on replay. It does make the task a lot bigger.
Chico, intercepted by Medwin. Daisy Brown back in scoring form, 6 for the season now. Ayres, Copus Brown. Jets looking to halve the deficit in short order. Copus Brown with a scooped pass, and Talia Franco is out to collect.
Well, already Talia Franco knows. Just soak up a few more seconds, try and continue with that momentum.
Woods. Really physical contest in midfield, a real pile-up of bodies. Josie Allen was the one crunched at the bottom of it all underneath Studer. The ball found its way out to the right in the meantime. Woods cuts it back for Kruger. Kruger to Miller. And now Woods. Miller sweeps the ball in. Headed away. And Emma Dundas clearing for the Jets. Ayres trying to flick it on. Seidel is there. Ayres. Seidel's got to be careful. It is a foul, and she is the only player on the pitch with the yellow. Mariana Seidel leaves the vicinity.
Yeah, she definitely wasn't pulling out there. A little bit of pulling of each other's shirts from Seidel and Melina Ayres.
Well, that wasn't the foul, but the referee saw nothing wrong with it when it arrived. Hoban. Trying to weave through Sophie Hoban. Chico. Asking a lot of Hoban here, but she's equal to it. Receives the ball, and now one-on-one defending against Momo Hayashi is another story. And Momo takes the points.
Yeah, she's so great at protecting the ball. Got that low centre of gravity, like you said, but uses her body so well. She's been such a great signing. Alex Smith spotted her in the NPL playing for the Gold Coast, and she has consistently been one of the best players for the Brisbane Roar.
Dundas to Ayres. Josie Allen. Ayres gets another bite at it. Shot on sight. Bit of force behind it. It's going to take the ball out for a corner kick, and the Jets buy themselves a set piece. Well, it's been overruled. Goal kick.
I saw Melina Ayres having a little chat to Rebecca Durkow, asking the question. I think that was pretty obvious that it was a deflection off a Brisbane Roar player. Melina Ayres had that shot. Did it come off the head of Ruby Cuthbert?
Roar will take it and run. Jansen. Chico, and Amy Medwin stands firm. Chico takes the throw in. Is that a handball by Collins? The referees put the whistle away. Kruger, Jansen. Able to keep possession, Bente Jansen, and deliver a diagonal ball over to Ashlyn Miller. Brown's on a hat-trick in the middle, don't forget. Here comes Miller. Looking for Brown, pops it over her head. Good movement from Daisy Brown. She was on her own, but the ball couldn't find her. Tish Woods. Cross bends back in and nearly sliced towards the target, but it will go for a corner instead. Emma Bates, first to the ball.
Well, that whole passage of attack started with Bente Jansen's diagonal ball. She battled away to get it. Ashlyn Miller played it to the far post. Tish Wood, second phase, got it back towards goal. Ashlyn Miller she's played quite well tonight.
The Raw have blitzed Newcastle out of the rooms at the start of the second half. A third goal. And that might be too big a gap to overcome. Here comes the corner, high to the back post. And now a shot from the edge of the box is blocked away. Hayashi. And that is going to go out for a corner on the opposite side.
A lot more pressure on the set pieces. We saw in the first half just the amount of players crowding around that 6-yard box, crowding around Georgia Ritchie, really putting pressure on that delivery from Seidel right on top of Georgia Ritchie's head in there. I mean, there's not too many players outside the box from both teams.
Home fans have found their voice too. The referee appears to be talking to Ashlyn Miller, hard on the goal line here. So the referee backs out of the scene and lets the players sort it out. The referee is now going to reach for cards. It's not immediately obvious who she's booked there. Appeared to point at Sophie Hoban. We'll see if we can get clarification from the fourth official or the match commissioner. Second yellow card of the night has been brandished regardless. Here comes the corner kick from Mariana Seidel, an in-swinger, and headed away by Bates. Copus Brown. And now Jansen. Hayashi with a left-footed volley and hooked it too far. No one able to get a deflection on it.
Well, I was surprised that the Newcastle Jets didn't get a foul there. Zara Kruger was all over the back of Melina Ayres at the top of the box as that ball bounced back in. There's a high foot as well. Momo Hayashi just trying to hit it first time.
Into the 10. Into the 10.
And so this is going to be an attacking change here for the Jets, even if it's like for like in terms of position. Lauren Allen has got a lot of experience as a winger, so even if she's coming on as a wing back here for Emma Bates, that is a signal of intent here for the Jets that they're not going to die wondering. They're going to go for it.
Yeah, and you could just hear on the microphone Sophie Hoban's going into the number 10, so playing a little bit more centrally, trying to overload in those central areas.
Well, it's one thing for the Jets to think about scoring, but they also need to worry about Brisbane here because a third could be on the way for Miller. Well, they're starting to pepper.
Well, Newcastle Jets look like they're going with a 3 at the back, trying to push a few more players forward, get a goal back, but that does leave a lot of space in those wide channels.
Confirmation that it was Ashlyn Miller who was given the yellow card for the Brisbane Roar. Medwin and Brown not able to get the better of Pryor nor Miller, the better of Chico as the ball is cleared. It slides away from Hayashi. Seidel only as far as Dundas. Dundas drives it out to the left. Josie Allen taking on Studer here. Josie Allen stops and props, right-footed cross, a volley from Lauren Allen, and that would have been the perfect introduction. Her first touch of the ball is a shot on target rather than a goal.
Well, a lovely ball in from Josie Allen, and I think that's another big missed opportunity for the Newcastle Jets. And Allen just almost hitting her shin, not getting good enough contact on it. Made it an easy take for Talia Franco.
Woods. 1-2 with Brown. Alicia Woods and Chico with the clearance. Slight challenge from Woods. And now Brown puts a foot in. The Raw just refused to give up here. And it's a hat-trick for Daisy Brown. What a moment for the 19-year-old. And persistence paid for the Brisbane Roar there. They refused to let the ball leave their defensive third. And Daisy Brown has a Ninja A-League hat-trick and her 7th goal of the season.
Like you said, Teo, there was plenty of persistence. Tish Woods, Daisy Brown, ball bobbles up, a little hesitation, and then she has that strike, and the deflection between the legs of Tash Pryor puts it out of reach from Georgia Ritchie. Well, what a night from Daisy Brown. Thought she had a pretty quiet first 45 minutes, and now has come up with a hat-trick. There's a long way back for the Newcastle Jets.
Ashlyn Miller, whose assist got this all started, putting it on the head of Brown for her first goal. She takes her leave. On comes Kaya Stevenson. Earlier in the season, when Pia Vlock scored a hat-trick against the Newcastle Jets, we were cracking open the list of youngest hat-trick scorers. Daisy Brown will be on it somewhere as a 19-year-old. Won't be at the top like Pia Vlock was in second place, but it's a phenomenal achievement. A teenager scoring a hat-trick in the Ninja A-League is always a big deal.
Yeah, and they've all been different types of goals, haven't they? She's kind of stuck in, bit of a poacher's goal. That one, I love it. The confidence for her to have a shot when there wasn't, you know, Tash Pryor was right in front of her there, but she had the strike, the little shimmy, the little hesitation, which made Tash Pryor almost turn her back and got the goal with the deflection of Tash Pryor's legs.
I wonder, does the scoreline tempt Brisbane Roar to leave Tamiki Yallop in cotton wool?
I think, knowing Meek, she'd want to get on and get some more minutes. I think that's probably why she's up and about, maybe keen to get on now. The game's opened up a little bit. They've got a nice buffer. So sometimes, depending on how the Jets come at the Roar, I feel like the confidence levels in the Roar might mean that they've got a bit more possession.
Can the Jets plant a seed of doubt? Emma Dundas, they'd love one. They'd love just to get the confidence boost of breaking through here in Newcastle, because there is still a lot of time to play with if they're good enough. Wilson, get her away by Hayashi. Jansen, big size mismatch against Josie Allen. Wilson is going to backtrack and retreat. It's probably worth mentioning at this point that a team has never come from 3 goals down to win a game in the history of either the W League or the Ninja A-League. And a draw's not good for the Jets tonight. They pretty much need to win, so they're going to have to create a bit of history in the last 25 minutes.
Yeah, where are those goals going to come from? I think the possession stats are pretty equal. They're about 50%, which is surprising when you're seeing the scoreboard, but I think that second goal was the really tough one to take. Georgia Ritchie making a mistake, taking too long to clear the ball out, and the deflection off Daisy Allen.
Jansen, blocked pass. I wonder how many minutes she'll have in the legs tonight, given that Raw specifically left her in cotton wool for this game. And so far, it's looking like, even though they did take the loss last week, an inspired decision.
Yeah, she's a quality player, Bente Jansen, so you want her on the pitch as much as possible. She's been good at those sweeping passes when she receives it on that left-hand side. Played that lovely crossfield diagonal ball as well as she broke out of the pressure.
Tell you who will be watching this with great anticipation of what the final score might be. Perth Glory and the Central Coast Mariners, who play each other tomorrow. That is a 6-pointer, because they are both now outside the top 6 looking in. Here's Lauren Allen. Big chance a moment ago. And the cutback here is out for a corner, and Newcastle have no choice but to continue to commit numbers forward.
Well, there's still plenty of time in this game. Interesting to see lots of Raw players back already. Not as many Jets players around the goalkeeper as we saw at the opposite end. As Alexis Collin and Josie Allen keeping Talia Franco occupied.
Here's the corner then for the Jets. First headed from Hayashi. Dundas, a miscue. And now grab of the shirt on Daisy Brown, and this will be a yellow card for Emma Dundas. She goes into the book as the first Newcastle player to receive a booking. And is the hat-trick hero down and hurt, or just a little ginger getting up?
Yeah, I think she'll be all right. I mean, not too much to say about that foul. Quite cynical from Emma Dundas, just trying to stop the momentum of Daisy Brown going forward. I mean, the referee waited for quite a while. It was almost like a rugby tackle in the end from Emma Dundas.
Newcastle are preparing a double sub. It looks like their Kiwi international duo, Charlotte Lancaster and Kelly Brown, are being readied. I've seen one Brown score a hat-trick. Maybe the Jets are hoping it's the goal-scoring touch of their Kiwi striker that can come on and change this game. Interesting to see who makes way here. So the foul is going to prompt this double change. Alexis Collins will make way for Charlotte Lancaster. And we're going to see Melina Ayres come off here for Kelly Brown. So, like for like, Lancaster a left-sided attacker, and Kelly Brown can play a little deeper, but often deployed as a centre forward. And the forwards that started the game, you see a rueful shake of the head there from Melina Ayres as they head to the bench.
Yeah, I would have kept Melina Ayres on. I just think she's a big game. She's a big moment player as well. She's had a couple of half chances, sliding in for that Copus Brown free kick in the first half. You know she's always going to have a shot when the opportunity presents itself from anywhere outside the box. No, I'd find a way to keep her on the pitch, even at 3-0 down.
Chico switching over to Josie Allen. Studer pressing up. Allen to Hoban, cut back to Dundas. Copus Brown, and now Pryor. Wilson. In steps Wilson again. A bit of grabbing and grappling. Stevenson. No foul given. Now Kai Stevenson can turn defence into attack. Daisy Brown, crossfield ball, gaps have opened. Bente Jansen to add a fourth. She does. Brisbane Roar making a statement. It's 4-0, and Bente Jansen, first game back from the international break for her, and she adds her name to the score sheet. And the Newcastle Jets, they won't be mathematically eliminated tonight, but in all practical reality, this is the door to the top six slamming shut.
Well, it was a lovely play from Medwin into Daisy Brown, who swiveled, played the ball across the pitch. I mean, in that position, Bente Jansen, Georgia Ritchie got a touch to it, but she hit it well enough. As Georgia Ritchie came sliding out, it almost skidded up over her into that far corner. And that's the danger when you're playing three at the back and you're trying to push more players forward. There's so much space in those wide channels, but that was a good switch of play from the Brisbane Roar.
And I tell you what, right now, the likes of Melbourne Victory, Perth Glory and Central Coast would be shouting, stop, stop, because Roar are repairing their goal difference tonight, and if they can bring back their goal difference as a factor, because they came into tonight with -8, Perth -6, the Mariners dead level, and Victory +3. All those teams battling each other for spots on the table. If the Roar go on and score a couple more here, then that could be the sort of big goal difference swing that could really reshape the run to the finish line and battle for spots in the top six.
Well, I'm sure the players wouldn't necessarily know that out on the pitch, but the way that the game's going and how Newcastle are now set up just with that three at the back, there's definitely potential opportunities for the game to continue opening up in this last 20 minutes.
Here's Hoban for the Jets. Now Lancaster, fresh off the bench, a burst here, goes to ground, and as the ball finds its way out, referee consults with the assistant and does point to the corner flag. So corner coming up as Ruby Cuthbert gets up a little worse for wear.
She's struggling, isn't she? I'm just trying to see where Ruby Cuthbert, what she was holding, whether it was her hamstring or behind her knee. We'll see here. It's a left. No, it was a right side. Sorry, maybe Lancaster landed on it. Yeah, holding her calf. Could be cramp. I mean, that pitch out there is incredibly heavy.
And it is worth remembering that, again, this is only Ruby Cuthbert's third game of the season after a really injury-hit time. So she is still building her capacity back towards being a 90-minute player. The trainer's out. Looking at the bench for the Brisbane Roar, Tamiki Yallop, Kira Myers, Amali Kinsella, Ava Piazza. So they do have either Piazza or Kinsella who can come on as defenders here if this cramp is a game ender here for Cuthbert.
Yep, got the pickle juice going. The magic pickle juice fixes all the cramping. It looks like Tamiki Yallop.
Cuthbert able to at least run off under her own steam, but Ava Piazza's getting the tactical briefing on the bench, so it looks like she will come on there, the number 22. And Tamiki Yallop. So the good news for the Jets is they do have 11 versus 10 at this corner kick, so can they find a way to grab a goal back with a player advantage? Kelly Brown puts the corner to the near post, and an emphatic header away from Woods. Doesn't make it to the line though. Kelly Brown swings it back in. Pryor with a header, and it's found the back of the net. Newcastle do have one, and they made the player advantage count. Tash Pryor on the board, but still a long way back for the Jets. It's 4-1.
Well, the Brisbane Roar defence just switched off completely there. Tash Pryor just nodding that ball into... There was a bit of a call for offside. There was plenty of time. No one marking her. Seidel was in front of her, and it was a really easy header into that bottom right-hand corner.
Shows the value of one phase of play, though. Zara Kruger coming to the bench for Tamiki Yallop. And Yallop comes on for her second game back from injury, and Ruby Cuthbert's night does come to an end due to cramp. Kruger gets her congratulations on the bench. There's Yallop back on. And it's going to be Ava Piazza stepping in at centre back. So 4-1, just under 20 minutes of regulation to go. Tamiki Yallop receives the captain's armband from Momo Hayashi upon her arrival on the pitch.
Great to see Tamiki Yallop back on the pitch after that hamstring injury. Getting a few more minutes after, what was it, 10 or so minutes last week. Just wonder whether she's still eyeing off a spot in that World Cup team for next year as well.
Here's Kaya Stevenson, the Roar looking for a fifth. As the ball is knocked out for a corner. It's been a goal avalanche in this second half. We've had 5 goals in 28 minutes.
That was a lovely ball from Josie Studer and a great run from Kaya Stevenson into that half space, trying to cut it back. Just couldn't quite catch it properly, but did well to win the corner.
Roar in absolutely no hurry now. Mariana Seidel, who's been able to play in a contained manner since picking up an early yellow card. On delivery with the corner here, an in-swinger, Hayashi. Yallop! Oh, what a save! Georgia Ritchie claws it over the bar, and Tamiki Yallop is denied a comeback goal. And for the young goalie, Georgia Ritchie, this was top-notch.
Well, was that Tamiki Yallop's first touch of the ball? I mean, I thought that was going in. Just maybe hit the ground, her toe hit the ground. Georgia Ritchie read that so well. Save, beautiful save to tip it over the bar.
So we wait for the corner here, just a quick tie-up of the bootlace required. Seemingly a great deal of a change in momentum for Newcastle, getting 1 goal back. The issue here is for Lauren Allen, even needs the help of a teammate here, getting her shoe back on. Crowd getting a little restless.
Yeah, I'm surprised the referee hasn't made her just go off the pitch to do that. He's decided to hold up play. I'm sure Brisbane aren't too concerned. They'll probably be happy just seeing the seconds continue to tick away.
And it's all a chance to break Newcastle's concentration as they defend a corner. So here's Seidel. Repeat corners for the Raw. This one honing in on the near post and cleared by none other than Lauren Allen. So it was worth the wait.
Yep, boots done up, can clear.
Well, again, Seidel leaving that ball to be thrown in by absolutely no one. That's the sort of thing that can get you a yellow card if you don't have one. But if you're on a yellow, the referee might feel a bit more lenient. But Josie Studer's come up from 40 metres away to eventually take this throw in. Down to the corner it goes. Stevenson. And it was much ado about nothing as the ball finds its way out. Alex Smith still shouting from the bench.
Yep, he'll have to be happy with this turnaround of results compared to the 3-0 loss to Wellington last week. Well, by all accounts, it probably could have been a few more goals. Not the Raw's best performance, but this is a great recovery.
Here's one of the reasons why. Daisy Brown, hat-trick to her name. And the ball is living down the right end as far as the home fans at Spencer Park are concerned.
Daisy Allen's done really well in this second half. Yeah, no rush whatsoever. The game management well and truly in place with the Brisbane Raw.
I think the referee right to give the hurry up here. Again, the ball just left on its own with no one within a 15-metre radius. And eventually, Alicia Woods comes over to take the corner kick. And you mentioned that the players out there wouldn't be aware of the goal difference. So this is evidence they're not. They've got every incentive to keep chasing here with 13 minutes to go. Here's Woods, high to the back post, and looping Kelly Brown, and the combination with Chico only clears as far as Tameki Yallop. Yallop. Piazza, first involvement off the bench for her, but she's not able to get the better of Josie Allen, and out it goes.
It was a nice little ball from Tameki Yallop. I think Ava Piazza probably could have just hit that first time. There was plenty of bodies in the box waiting for it, but she decided to try and take on Josie Allen, and Allen did really well just to shield that ball out.
Headed from Hayashi, it's over the head of Wilson, needs to be dealt with though. Hooking it over to Woods, Lauren Allen in a duel against Yallop. Now Lancaster, a natural left footer, so she's, well, not going to turn onto her favoured side now, she is. And is able to send the ball towards Chico, but she's caught in a 50-50 by Studer. Wilson comes out, only as far as Yallop. A bit of disorganisation. Can the Raw seize upon it? Jansen finds Brown. Jansen might have been offside, but the ball has been skied. Lauren Allen. Jansen, and now Pryor. Daisy Brown is down again. Not good news for her. In the meantime, the ball squeezed through to Lancaster. Can the Jets capitalise? Josie Allen. Brown's back on her feet behind play. That's the good news. Here comes Jansen chasing Dundas. In the meantime, a switch of flanks, headed away by Studer. And now Stevenson. Kaya Stevenson waiting for the run of Josie Studer. Chico staying goal side. Here's Brown back on the ball. Back pass could be dangerous, but out steps Seidel. Lancaster was in the vicinity, but Seidel did enough. And now Medwin. Jansen caught by Lancaster. Ball right down next to the Raw bench. So Brisbane Raw are back at Spencer Park next Friday. They take on the Perth Glory, while Newcastle, they are away to Adelaide on Saturday the 28th of March. So again, two games that have a massive bearing on the final table. And then in the last round of the season, Brisbane are away at Canberra United on the Saturday, and Newcastle play the very last home and away game against Melbourne City on Sunday the 5th of April, and regardless of whether Newcastle are eliminated or not, Melbourne City might need to win that to win the premiership, and depending on how the Wellington Phoenix go, they might need to win it by a lot of goals to win the premiership. That's all to unfold in the next fortnight. Right now we've got 10 minutes to go here, and Kaya Stevenson is winning a corner.
Oh, so much to keep across for that. So many maybes and how-tos for the last few games of the season. I mean, I do love it when it's a close contest and all the teams are still vying for spots, vying for points. The goal difference is always an interesting part of it as well. Like you said, Teo, they definitely don't know about that potential of the goal difference. You'd be surprised how little the players do know about those things.
Well, you rely on the coaches to shout from the bench if you need one more, I guess. And who knows, I mean, it could come down to goal difference on that final weekend. Not just to make the 6, but even the difference between 4th and 5th is the difference between a home final and an away final. And the fans at Spencer Park would love to see the Raw at home in finals. Here's Seidel, in-swinging corner, and Pryor heads it out of the teeth of goal. The follow-up from Jansen, right back into the mixer, a series of ricochets, and it's going to be another corner kick.
That was a really well-controlled strike from Bente Jansen. She didn't try and hit it with her laces as it popped back out from Tash Pryor. Just tried to side foot it, hit it into the ground to keep it lower. And it was a good effort, deflected out for a corner.
It's been a barrage of corners from the Brisbane Roar over the course of the night. And the Jets' defence aren't off the hook yet. Seidel. And the header slides across the face. Hayashi chasing, Hoban outpaces her, but to no great effect. It's going to go out for a throw-in. The home fans are saying that the assistant referee in the opposite half pointed the other way, but the central referee must have overruled. The whistle goes due to a bit of byplay after the clearance. It's all becoming a little bit frayed around the edges here.
It also looked like a foul throw to me as well, Teo, even if that decision wasn't right. Well, I mean, that's a foul throw to me.
I think the end call here is offside against Newcastle, because that's based on where the ball is being restarted from. Dead ball restart for the Brisbane Roar. Hayashi flattered late. And Hayashi is still down. Jansen is going to attack in the meantime. Bente Jansen stops and props, bends into the box. Yallop chasing the loose ball, trying to flick it on, and now gets a deflection on it. Sits up, Stevenson not quite, second to the ball. Hayashi's still down. The ball has landed on it and stayed in. And now the referee will bring play to a stop, and this is high fast.
Well, it looks like a definite foul for me. Libby Copus-Brown has gone straight through the back of Momo Hayashi. I don't know what Rebecca Durkow is thinking there. It's a foul every day of the week. It's also a yellow card. There wasn't much of an advantage. It looks like Libby Copus-Brown has copped the yellow card, but it was so obvious. Just pull up the play. And Alex Smith not happy about that call. He's been remonstrating for quite a lot of this second half as well. Different decisions that he hasn't agreed with, maybe a few questionable ones.
I'm just glad the ball didn't land on the head or the face of Momo Hayashi there, because it was one last blow. A prone player already down and the ball lands on her, albeit on her hip or on her midriff.
I just also think there wasn't too much advantage because she got absolutely taken out. So you've got a player who's on the ground, who's clearly being taken out from behind. You've lost that player to the attack. I don't see what the advantage would have been.
Well, Momo's back up.
And now it's a drop ball. This is extraordinary. So now it's a drop ball, and Libby Copus-Brown. It looks like her and Bente Jansen have had a little chat, and Libby Copus-Brown might be just playing the ball back in Oh, nope.
So, back underway into the last 5 minutes of regulation time. 4-1 the score. A hat-trick from Daisy Brown and goal for Bente Jansen before Tash Pryor, right here on the ball, did at least grab one for the Jets, but a loss tonight practically ends their season, as we see Woods with a long-range attempt saved by Ritchie. If not mathematically, you can still do the ladder predictor and find a way in for the Jets off the back of tonight's result, but in all likelihood they won't be able to find a way in with 26 points, which is, assuming they don't come from the clouds, the most that they'll be able to get to with 2 games to go. Here is Josie Allen. Dispossessed. Tamiki Yallop. He's got Medwin working on the left. Yallop uses her now. Medwin takes the ball to the corner and wins a throw.
Yeah, in no rush to try and get that ball into the box. Amy Medwin just trying to soak up a few more seconds, try and manage this game to the end. You'd assume there'd be a little bit of additional time. There's been a few stoppages.
Yallop with a spin and earns a corner kick. And you said she'd be keen to get out there and play some minutes, and she's come back looking pretty sharp.
Yeah, and had that decent strike on goal and a wonderful save from Georgia Ritchie. It's one of her first touches of the ball. We know the quality of Tamiki Yallop. Technically, she's been, I mean, she was one of those youngsters that when she came into the Brisbane Roar, I thought, it's probably time for me to retire. This is the future of the Matildas. Like, so much enthusiasm, technical ability, tactical awareness.
Woods takes the corner kick. High and hopeful. Lauren Allen. Woods, a second attempt. Brown lunging out for the ball. Allen, a glancing attempt at a clearance. Hayashi taken to ground. Yallop through traffic. And it's across the face with a deflection. Another corner on the way.
Well, she controlled that really well, Meeks, as that ball was bouncing up. Not trying to hit it too hard. Hit it back across Georgia Ritchie's goal.
Bente Jansen is going to take her leave after 88 minutes. Pretty good signs for the Dutch woman, who at times has had to be subbed off in precautionary measure or strategically rested, but almost the full 90 tonight, and she'll come off here for Kira Myers.
Yeah, she's had a really good night, Bente Jansen. You can see the quality, not just of how she reads the game, but her link-up play, even her technique. She almost glides across the pitch. She's been a really good addition to this Brisbane Roar team for this season.
12th corner of the night for the Roar, and Wilson heads away for the Jets.
Thank you.
Yallop, block tackle, comes from Hoban, bit of backspin on the ball. Piazza. Lauren Allen, Medwin. It's going to just hold up on the surface, and that allows Woods to take possession for Brisbane. Tries to squeeze it back. Medwin wasn't quite there. So, last minute of the 90. Brisbane on track for a win, which keeps them in control of their destiny. Only due to playing Perth and Canberra in the last 2 games. They're 6-pointers. It's like finals every week for Brisbane fans from now until the end of the season. And against a Newcastle team that, when they watch back the chances they had to score in the first half, that one-on-one save from Talia Franco from Sophie Hoban right on half-time. What a turning point in the game that has proven to be. Lancaster here, able to extract herself from traffic. Dundas through ball. Hoban rounds the keeper this time, and that'll be 2 for the Jets. As the game ticks into stoppage time, Hoban scores, but it might be too little too late for Newcastle. It's 4-2.
Yeah, it was a lovely little ball played in behind the Brisbane Roar defence. Sophie Hoban, as you say, that first half chance where Talia Franco smothered the ball. She took a touch around Franco this time. Was able just to play it into an empty net. But as you say, Teo, a little too late.
5 minutes to go. Jets are on the clock. If they can make it 4-3 with a minute left, you never know. You just never know. A team has never come from 4-0 down to get anything in the league. A draw, never. So this, again, we're in impossible territory for the Jets. As we see a foul here. Of course, it's a weekend where the seemingly impossible, many Australian football fans would love it to become possible-ish, of course. I'm referring to tomorrow night's AFC Women's Asian Cup final, which you can watch on Paramount Plus and 10 Football.
Yeah, a massive game for the Tillies at home at Stadium Australia against one of the best teams in the world.
Is that a yellow card for time wasting? If it is. Well, I wonder who was given the yellow card there. It was definitely out of the pocket. Mariana Seidel's still out there, so maybe it's Talia Franco who got the yellow card. Anyway, play continues, 11 versus 11. And here is Lancaster. Square ball. Kira Myers coming off the bench. And she commits a foul. Home fans still parochial right to the end of the night. And again, that's why Brisbane Roar.
Yeah, I think Mariana Seidel's, that's her second yellow. She got one in the first half. I think the referee, is she having a look at her book?
Well,
surely the assistant referee has said something there. Yeah, maybe she's reviewing that.
and in the cut and thrust of a game, you never want to assume that the referee's made a technical error like this. Yeah, maybe it was Talia Franco. Well, I guess the match commissioner and the referee will confer on that post-game. The Jets are still going for it. If they score here, it could set up a grandstand finish. As the ball slides through the penalty area, and the aforementioned Seidel is first to the ball to clear it away. Here's Hoban. Pryor, seemingly thrown forward. Chico, Copus Brown. And that one won't invite any of her teammates onto the ball. Talia Franco holds on. Chico, watching. Bit of a hospital back pass that for Richie, especially with Daisy Brown in the vicinity. Here's Woods, looking for Stevenson. Now Chico, a forceful clearance, but stoppage time is running out on the Jets here, and it's in Brisbane Roar's favour. Yeah, it looks like the Jets are probably a little bit deflated. Understand that the clock's ticking down. Haven't created a huge amount of chances in the second half, as you said previously, Teo. I think they'll look back on that first half. Everything else was reasonably even. It was a scrappy first half, though, wasn't it? But they definitely had the better of the chances. If anything, they probably preferred the game when it was a bit more end-to-end and helter-skelter, because that's when they were creating more. And Brisbane just had the patience to put a foot on the ball and slow things down. And they're going to be handsomely rewarded here with the 3 points. Albeit not the boost of the goal difference that they may have been heading for when it was 4-0. But it's down the right end as far as Brisbane are concerned to continue winding time off the clock and see this one to the finish line to break a 4-game losing streak. They did come into tonight under threat of equaling their record losing streak. That will not be the case here. So, down in the corner, stoppage time about to expire. Momo Hayashi, a foot on the ball. And the flag again points Brisbane's way as the 5 minutes of stoppage expire. Josie Studer in possession. Fitting that it's at the feet of Daisy Brown. And the full-time whistle goes. Brisbane Roar squarely back in the finals race. Daisy Brown with a hat-trick. Bente Jansen added the fourth as the Brisbane Roar built an unassailable lead. And now they will watch on for the rest of the weekend. They go 6th for now. And they will be desperately hoping favourable results in other games may allow them to keep it by the end of the weekend. But it sets up a massive final 2 weeks of the home and away season. Brisbane will be back at home against the Perth Glory in another 6-pointer next weekend. But for now, they take care of business. And for the Newcastle Jets, they are not mathematically eliminated tonight, but in all practical reality, their finals charge comes to an end. Brisbane Roar 4, Newcastle Jets 2. Alicia Ferguson, a muted end to a game that gave us a lot in a very short burst at the start of the second half.
Yeah, it was a great start from the Roar coming out. A great ball in from Ashlyn Miller into Daisy Brown. The first half, by all accounts, was pretty scrappy. It was pretty even on statistics. I think the Roar started to put their foot on the ball and dominate possession a little bit, control it a bit more. But really, the Jets had some wonderful